Hi, and welcome to CryptoBiography. I'm your host, Brandon Starr, and this is episode 218, and it is part 13 of Snake Magic. And here we go. Let me get us some food, Hefrid said. She slithered off to get some from a Nazrak who had a stand. She came back with some sort of food wrapped in a soft flatbread. Not wanting to seem worried or ungrateful, Neidre immediately took a bite. It was an alien taste. She wasn't sure what was inside, some mix of meats and vegetables. But the taste was the unusual part. They must use some herb or spice that gave a pungent, earthy flavor. She decided at once that she liked it. "Thank you," she said, and kept eating. She did not stop until it was gone. By then, Hefrid had gone off to get some water, which she drank. Whatever spice that was made her thirsty. "What is our plan?" Neidre asked. "I'll introduce you to our leader, Brenine," Hefrid replied. "We'll get permission for you to live among us." "The one who said I should go back with the humans?" Neidre asked doubtfully. "That's not quite what she said," Hefrid said. "She said they wouldn't trade for you. But don't feel upset about it. You are a stranger. It would be odd indeed if we gave up a large amount of gold for someone we didn't know." "I suppose," Neidre said. "Besides, there's a detail you haven't been filled in on," Hefrid said. "As the chief scout, I had been following your caravan for days. I even almost got caught by those Arthids. I was lucky. Just when they were about to discover me, Garrick started spouting fire from out the back and drew them away." Hefrid smiled at the apparently amusing memory. "So you see, I knew you were on that wagon, and I got ahead of you and spoke with Brenine and the other leaders, and got permission to try to get you out of there, either during the trade or afterward. I had permission to follow those wagons all the way back to your home if I had to. Of course, when the humans dirty dealt us, that also gave me the chance to get you away from them. So really, there was never any idea of trading for you. I had already planned on taking you from them, if you were willing to go." "Willing? Why wouldn't I be willing?" Neidre asked. "Oh, we've seen it before. Nazrak who are simply too attached, too old, or too afraid to try to escape their bonds. A terribly sad thing to see, but you proved to be one of the braver ones." "But I might not be allowed to stay, even though you had planned it with them?" "Well, there might be a bit of convincing to do," Hefrid said, shrugging. "They'll ask you some questions. Just answer honestly. They're just looking to make sure you're not in league with the humans." "In league with them?" Neidre asked, a little loudly. "Yes," Hefrid said quietly, leaning toward her. "That has happened too. Nazrak have been promised all kinds of things to come here and spy on us. A couple of them actually did it, too." Neidre lapsed into silence. Maybe some other humans treated Nazrak differently, but all the ones she had seen, both on the estate and as guests from elsewhere, had always treated her as a slave and nothing else. "So, Brenine, what sort of leader is she?" Neidre asked. "Oh, even-handed, wise, willing to discuss options and differing points of view?" Hefrid said. "Good to know," Neidre said. "Probably a better answer than the question I was really asking, which is she a queen, a chief, or what?" "Oh," said Hefrid with a smile. "Our leaders are chosen by a large group of Nazrak who have proven themselves in various ways. The ones who others feel would make a good leader are put forward, and from that pool, there's a discussion that takes as long as necessary to come to a decision." "Did you help elect Brenine?" Neidre asked. "No," she said. "I was a regular scout at that time. I'll be on the next council. Every year the council convenes to discuss the leader and if they should continue to serve as our leader. If more than 10% feel that's debatable, then the process begins anew. Often the old leader is still maintained, but at least the council has their say." "What of those who aren't on the council? Do they have any say?" "Indirectly. Everyone on the council comes from some aspect of society, and those who aren't on the council can go to their aspect leaders to air grievances. Before I was scout leader, I had a grievance I took to my leader about a male who was acting too aggressively towards me." Neidre thought about this. "The armies I know about have their scouts as just a small part of their armies. Is that how it is with the Nazrak?" "No," Hefrid said. "Our armies, such as they are mostly bows to keep them at a distance, while magic users work to turn the tide of battle." "But Garrick defeated you so easily," Neidre said. "We were caught off guard," Hefrid said. We thought some sort of trick was possible, but we didn't plan for outright hostility. Because of this, though our leaders came out of respect, we didn't have most of our war wizards with us. Was any magic used by our side? Neidre said, not able to keep herself from using our, despite not yet being welcomed in. Yes, a few were saved, she said. What a mess. We're a secretive people, distrustful usually. Part of why we didn't send more, to conceal our numbers. But we should have had more. The next council meeting is coming up in a few weeks. I'm sure there'll be much discussion of the trade and what went wrong. Perhaps there'll be a different leader afterward. Anyway, Neidre said, you and the scouts aren't part of the military? Our main use is to make sure the secrets of where we are and how we live remain safe. We team up with our army in wartime. Most of the time, we remain separate. We came by small paths, Neidre said, thinking back on something she had noticed on the way. You must know every path around here. Why the way we took? To protect you, she said. From us. The likelihood is small, but there are other Nazrak societies, small ones. Ours is by far the largest, larger than all the others put together, I believe, and I have the best information on them. Most of them are aggressive towards outsiders, so even though we were in our territory, I wanted to make sure you stayed safe. I chose the paths I deemed best. I had no idea, Neidre said. Thank you. Of course, Hefrid said, waving her thanks away. Least I could do is your sponsor into our society. Why did you decide to save me? Sponsor me? Neidre asked. Well, like I said, I've been following your wagon for some time. I saw how you were treated. I also saw how you reacted. I thought I saw something good in there, something that your violent upbringing hadn't been able to drive out of you. I wanted to help you before that good thing might be snuffed out. Neidre could say nothing to this. Well, let us go and meet Bernine, Hefrid said. She slithered away towards a tree trunk with more peg stairs. Where is she? Neidre asked. At the top, Hefrid said simply. At the top was quite a long way away, far further than Neidre would have thought possible. They went along many peg stairs and across more floors, and also across more level logs like the bridge they had used to cross the river. What happens if humans or any enemy decide to burn you out? Neidre asked. They'd have a hard time succeeding, Hefrid replied. Fair bit of our magic is aimed at fire reduction, and if they decided to chop down our trees, well, we have a lot of nasty things that can be dropped down on anyone foolish enough to try. The trees were immense, and when they arrived at the top, Neidre could only guess how high they were. The leader's platform was on the highest tree, on the highest branches that could readily support a good-sized structure. It was made from much the same trained branches and planks setup as the food court below, but as there were no branches above to provide shelter, there was a large, ornate, and lovely gazebo of carved wood polished to a high gloss. There were also statues of Nazrak, also carved from wood, at regular intervals near the edge, which, unlike some of the other platforms they had been on, had a proper railing. Who these Nazrak were, Neidre had no idea, though the statues looked like they represented real individuals and not idealized forms. Neidre looked around as they approached the leader's platform. The view stretched all around low hills with trees as far as she could see. Though they were high up indeed, Neidre had seen a human trebuchet throw a rock during a royal feast as a sort of entertainment and also as a way to impress those in attendance. She imagined such devices could rain destruction on the Nazrak city. She hoped that Hefrid and the others had plans against that possibility. As they slid to the top of the peg stairs, Neidre could see that several of the leaders that had been at the disastrous trade with the humans were there, including the one she now knew was Bernine. She gulped. Soon she would know if she would be allowed to stay, or if she would be exiled to who knows what fate. And that's the episode for this week. I actually had a good time writing this one, and I hope you're enjoying this story. If you have any comments or questions about this episode or previous episodes, CryptoBiography@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook or Twitter, and thanks for listening. Words and music, copyright 2021, CryptoBiography LLC, all rights reserved. Characters and events are fictional, fictionalized, or satirical.